Love has made people cry, lose themselves, ruin their lives. But what if I told you most of it isn't even real? You didn't fall in love. You fell into a chemical reaction. Hello, beautiful thinkers. Welcome back to our Thinking Lab, the only channel where we break down every episode using medicine, ancient wisdom, stoicism, biblical insights, and truth most people avoid. Today's topic, love. Is it from the heart or the brain? The thing people would die for, cry for, and lose everything for. But what if I told you most of what you call love isn't coming from your heart at all? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Medical Truth. The Illusion of Love. Love activates the same neural circuits as addiction. The brain releases the following: dopamine, reward and pleasure spikes, oxytocin bonds, cortisol drops, serotonin disruption, obsession, that I can't stop thinking about them feeling. That's not romance. That's your brain behaving like it's on drugs, because biologically, it is. Your brain literally rewires itself to prioritize one person. Picture this. You think you're following your heart, but your brain is actually running a chemical PowerPoint presentation titled, "Here's Why. You Can't Stop Thinking About Them." Love feels magical because biology is doing heavy lifting behind the scenes. Another picture this. It felt powerful. 3 hours later, you're staring at your phone like, maybe they didn't see my message. So you send another one. That's not your heart. That's withdrawal. Your brain got used to the dopamine they gave you, and now it's craving another hit. Have you ever questioned if the person you love is actually just the person your brain refuses to let go of? Psychology. Love is a pattern, not an accident. Psychology says love is shaped by the following: attachment style, childhood modeling, emotional safety, familiarity, timing. Your brain picks people who match your internal blueprint, not your wish list. Picture this. You swear you have a type, but really your nervous system is just reenacting old emotional homework you never finished. Love feels personal, but it's deeply patterned. If love is supposed to bring peace, why does yours come with anxiety, overthinking, and emotional chaos? Chapter 2. Ancient Wisdom. You've been warned before. Thousands of years ago, long before neuroscience. Ancient thinkers already understood this. They didn't call it dopamine. They called it loss of control. They warned, when emotion overrides reason, suffering follows. Picture this. They lie. They disappear. They disrespect you. And you say, but deep down, they're a good person. Spoiler alert. No. Deep down, you're emotionally attached to potential. Ancient wisdom would tell you, you're not in love, you're an illusion. What if the reason you can't let go isn't because you love them, but because your brain hasn't accepted the loss yet? Chapter 3. Stoicism, the Discipline of Love. Stoicism teaches one brutal truth. You cannot control what you feel, but you are responsible for what you choose. Love, without discipline, turns into chaos, attachment, jealousy, obsession. Love is a discipline, not a feeling. Love is not just emotion, it's character, choice, and self-mastery. They taught that the heart is wild, but the mind must guide it. Picture this. Your heart wants fireworks, but your wisdom wants peace. And whichever one you feed becomes your future. Love feels emotional, but it's sustained by discipline. Picture this. It's 1:47 a.m. You text, I miss you. 8 a.m. You wake up like, why did I send that? You didn't. Not the disciplined version of you. That was your emotional brain, overriding your rational mind. You didn't fall in love. You lost control. Be honest. Are you missing them? Or are you just not used to being alone? Chapter 4. Biblical Principle, What Love Actually Is. Now here's where most people get it wrong. Love is not just a feeling, because feelings change. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7 and 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So faith, hope, love remain, these three, but the greatest of these is love. Guess what? This destroys the idea that love is just a feeling. It defines love as behavior and discipline. Love requires action, not words. 1 John 3:18. Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. A point to ponder. If they say they love you but don't show it, it's not love. Love is sacrifice, not convenience. John 15:13. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. A point to ponder. Real love costs something. If it's easy and disposable, it's not deep. Picture this. Everything is good when it's easy, but the moment things get difficult and miserable, they change, they withdraw, they disappear, they stop trying, and they say, I just don't feel the same anymore. That wasn't love, that was convenience. Because true love doesn't disappear when it's tested. Picture this. You say, I love you with your mouth, but your habits say, I'm not ready. In Scripture, love is proven by behavior, not butterflies. Love feels spiritual because it calls you higher. Are you in love with them? Or are you in love with how they made you feel when you needed it the most? Chapter 5. The Harsh Truth, Self-Abandonment. Here's the part people avoid. Picture this. You ignored red flags, defended them to your friends, stayed when you should have left, lost your standards, lost your time, lost yourself. And when it ends, you say, I loved them so much. No, you abandoned yourself for a feeling. At what point does loving someone become disrespecting yourself? Chapter 6. Famous saying, the head is above the heart. When people say the head is above the heart, they're not talking about anatomy. They're talking about hierarchy. It's a reminder that your mind was designed to lead and your emotions were designed to follow, not the other way around. 1. Biology backs it up. Your brain creates the chemicals of love. Your heart just feels the consequences. Your head is above your heart, because logic is supposed to supervise chemistry, not drown in it. 2. Psychology backs it up. Your patterns, attachment style, and emotional history live in the mind. Your heart reacts, but your brain interprets. Your head is above your heart, because awareness must outrank impulse. 3. Ancient wisdom backs it up. Every ancient tradition taught the same thing. The heart is powerful, but the mind must be captain. Your head is above your heart, because wisdom must govern desire. 4. Biblical insight backs it up. Scripture never tells you to follow your heart. It tells you to guard it. Your head is above your heart, because discernment protects you from your own emotions. Picture this. You let your heart lead, and suddenly you're in love with someone your brain would have rejected in 5 seconds if it had been in charge. That's why your head is above your heart. Not for decoration, but because love needs leadership, not chaos. Chapter 7. Heartache and Heartbroken. We say heartache and heartbroken not because the heart is damaged, but because the brain's emotional pain circuits overlap with physical pain circuits, and the body feels that shock in the chest. It's your nervous system grieving a bond your brain once treated as essential for survival. In other words, your heart isn't breaking, your brain is recalibrating, and the pressure shows up in the place you feel love the most. Picture this. You're calling it heartache and heartbroken, but your heart isn't the one collapsing. It's your brain going through withdrawal from someone your logic would have never hired as an intern, let alone given emotional benefits. And that's exactly why your head is above your heart. Because if your mind had been in charge, you wouldn't be out here grieving someone who was never qualified to hold your peace. Be honest. Was it your heart that broke? Or your brain finally admitting it chose the wrong person? Drop your answer below and tell me the exact moment you realized your head should have been leading the relationship, not your emotions. Chapter 8. Love is blind. Love is blind doesn't mean love can't see. It means your brain chooses not to see clearly when emotions take over. When you're emotionally attached, your brain filters reality, such as you minimize red flags, you justify bad behavior, you focus on how they make you feel, not who they actually are. So it's not that love is blind. It's that attachment distorts your perception. It makes you ignore what you clearly see. Picture this. They've shown you who they are, multiple times, but you keep saying, maybe they didn't mean it like that. That's not love. That's your mind protecting the feeling, at the cost of the truth. Love is blind because you keep your eyes closed. Chapter 9. I fell out of love. Don't let that phrase slide. It sounds harmless, but it hides a lot of truth people avoid. It usually doesn't mean love disappeared. It means the dopamine faded, the novelty wore off, the effort stopped. So instead of saying, I stopped choosing you, people say, I fell out of love. Translation: the feeling left, and I didn't replace it with discipline. We've all heard it 1,000,000 times. I fell out of love. But think about that for a second. You don't just fall out of something that was real. What actually happened? The excitement faded. The chemistry settled. Reality showed up. Picture this. In the beginning, they couldn't get enough of you. It is absolutely hot and wild. Texts all day, calls all night. Effort was effortless. Months later, replies get shorter and shorter. Energy changes. Presence disappears. And suddenly, they say, I just don't feel the same anymore. No, you didn't fall out of love. You fell out of the feeling and didn't build anything deeper. People don't fall out of love. They fall out of effort, presence, and responsibility. Love that only exists when it feels good was never love. It was chemistry with a deadline. Chapter 10. Love can make or break you. This line is powerful, but only if you ground it in truth, not cliché. Love can make or break you, because love amplifies who you are. With the right person, it builds you, sharpens you, gives you purpose. With the wrong person, it drains you, blinds you, and can destroy your judgment. It's not love itself. It's who you give it to and how you handle it. They say, love can make or break you. And they're right, but not for the reason you think. Love doesn't just reveal your heart. It exposes your discipline, your judgment, your self-respect. Picture this. You meet someone, And suddenly you're better, focused, inspired, growing. Now picture the opposite. You're anxious, overthinking, losing sleep, losing yourself. Same emotion, different outcome. Historical plus biblical examples. History has already shown us love can elevate you or completely break you. 1. Samson and Delilah. A man of strength, undone by misplaced love. Lesson: love without discernment leads to destruction. 2. Cleopatra VII and Mark Antony. Passion so intense it led to war and their downfall. Lesson: love mixed with power and obsession can consume everything. 3. King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Obsession led him to break from the church, reshape a nation, and eventually execute her. Lesson: uncontrolled love can turn into obsession, power abuse, and destruction. 4. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. Love grounded in purpose, endurance, and sacrifice. Lesson: love can strengthen a mission and legacy. 5. Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. Decades of loyalty, discipline, and commitment. Lesson: real love is sustained through consistency, not just emotion. Universal truth. Same word, love, but two completely different forces. One builds legacies, the other destroys lives. Love won't break you. Choosing the wrong person and ignoring the truth will. Love begins in the brain, but whether it makes you or breaks you depends on your awareness, your discipline, and your choice. In conclusion, rebuilding truth. So let's answer the question, is love from the heart or the brain? So where does love really come from? Love begins in the brain. Chemistry, attraction is felt in the heart. Emotion, and is sustained by the soul. It's chemistry, psychology, wisdom, and discipline braided together. The heart feels it. The brain interprets it. Your character decides what you do with it. But it becomes real only when it's guided by something stronger, such as discipline, awareness, choice. Stop trusting how love feels, because feelings can lie. Start questioning, why am I attached? What am I ignoring? Am I choosing this or reacting? Because the moment you master your mind is the moment you stop being controlled by love and start choosing it. Be honest. Does your heart choose who you love, or does your brain trick you into it? Let's have a fun voting game. Team heart versus team brain. Drop your vote below. Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? This directly supports our thesis. Stop blindly trusting your heart. We've reached our closing. If this episode resonated with you, subscribe, like and share to a friend or family who needs to be reminded to lead the heart. If this made you rethink love, wait until you understand why your brain craves what destroys you. May this ending statement be a helpful reminder. Heartache and heartbreak. Feel like your chest is collapsing, but that's just your brain detoxing from a fantasy it blinded itself to. You didn't fall out of love. Your chemistry just stopped lying. And that's exactly why your head is above your heart. Because once the chemistry fades and the lights come back on, you finally see the red flags you were calling destiny and serendipity. Remember, you are not in a movie. This is real life. Thank you for stopping by at our thinking lab, where we just don't glow from the inside and out, but we grow beautifully. Until next time, stay grounded, stay healthy, stay powerful, Stay beautiful.